When most people think of success, the first image that flashes in their mind is the private jet. The polished leather seats, the golden champagne bubbles rising in tall glasses, the crisp suits and sparkling jewelry, all symbols of a life that feels untouchable, almost unreal. They see the mansion on the hill, the fleet of cars parked in front, the perfectly curated life on social media, and they whisper to themselves, "That's success. That's the dream." And for a moment, it feels so far away, so unreachable, that they forget something crucial. That image is only the surface, because what people rarely see are the nights that built that moment. They don't see the 3 a.m. grind, when someone was still at their desk, running on caffeine and sheer determination. They don't see the rejections, doors slammed, opportunities lost, investors walking away, friends doubting. They don't see the debt piling up, the anxiety that comes with risking everything. The moments when failure feels louder than any dream. The world sees the jet, but it never sees the turbulence that got it off the ground. Luxury is seductive because it's clean, polished, and easy to consume. Struggle, on the other hand, is messy. It doesn't photograph well. You can't post a picture of heartbreak, of being broke, of feeling like your life is collapsing while you're still chasing a dream. That's why so many people look at success and feel like it's impossible. They only see the end result, not the brutal road it took to get there. They see the finish line, but never the bleeding feet that crossed it. And this illusion is dangerous because it convinces people that success is supposed to look easy, glamorous, instant. But here's the truth. Every private jet has a private struggle attached to it. Every story of wealth and power is built on a foundation of sleepless nights, crushing doubts, and unshakable persistence. The jet is only a reward, a symbol. The real story is in the storm. So the next time you scroll through your feed and see someone living that dream life, don't let envy creep in. Instead, remember that behind every moment of luxury lies a history of pain, discipline, and resilience. Success isn't defined by what the world claps for. It's defined by what you fight for when no one is watching. The truth is, those private struggles are not signs of weakness. They are the engines that carry people to greatness. Because at the end of the day, the private jet is just a destination. But the private struggles, that's the journey. And the journey is where you find who you really are. Step behind the curtain of success, and you'll realize something powerful. The story is never as glamorous as the highlight reel. For every moment of applause, there are years of silence. For every photograph of victory, there are countless days spent in uncertainty, wondering if the dream will ever become real. Behind the curtain, the lights dim, the cameras are off, and what's left is a person wrestling with fear, doubt, and exhaustion. Think about the names we idolize today. Steve Jobs, before he was celebrated as a genius, he was fired from his own company, humiliated, labeled a failure. Oprah Winfrey, before she became the most influential woman in media, she was told she wasn't fit for television. Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player of all time, was once cut from his high school team. These aren't just anecdotes. They're proof that success is not born in comfort. It's forged in rejection. The truth is, Struggle is not a detour on the road to success. It is the road. It's the lonely nights when you're still working while everyone else is asleep. It's the sacrifices no one thanks you for. It's hearing no 100 times and still showing up for the 101st. Success demands a private battle, and it rarely makes sense to anyone watching from the outside. Behind the curtain, there are tears that never make it to Instagram. There are sacrifices that go unnoticed. Missing birthdays, staying home while friends go out, investing money you don't have, and sometimes even losing relationships because not everyone is built to walk with you on the journey. People see the end, but they don't see the cost, and this is why so many quit too early. They think struggle means they're failing, when in reality, struggle means they're right on track. Struggle is the tuition fee for greatness. It's the invisible price tag attached to every dream worth chasing. If you've ever wondered why your path feels heavy, why it feels like you're carrying the weight of the world while others seem to be flying, it's because you're in the building phase. You're in the part of the story no one else sees, but it's the part that matters most. The jet, the mansion, the applause, those are simply results. But the curtain hides the real performance, persistence, resilience, and grit. And here's the truth no one tells you. Success without struggle doesn't last. It's the pain that teaches you discipline. It's the failure that teaches you focus. It's the rejection that teaches you resilience. Without those lessons, even the brightest success crumbles. So don't envy what's on the surface. Respect what's behind it. And when your own life feels like a battlefield, remind yourself, you're not off track. You're not cursed. You're exactly where you're supposed to be, because behind every curtain of success is a private struggle. And one day, those struggles will be the reason people applaud when you step into the spotlight. Success has a price tag that doesn't come in dollars. It comes in sacrifice. Everyone admires the man stepping onto a private jet, but almost no one wants to pay what it costs to get there. Because the truth is, the jet isn't fueled by money. It's fueled by years of sacrifice, by the things you gave up long before the world ever celebrated you. Sacrifice is invisible. You don't see the mother who wakes up at 4 a.m. to build a business while her kids are still asleep. You don't see the young athlete who skips parties, who trains while his friends are out having fun. You don't see the entrepreneur who invests every last dime into a dream while everyone calls him reckless. Sacrifice is the unseen currency, and without it, success is impossible. The American dream has always been painted with bright colors: freedom, opportunity, prosperity. But what people forget is that behind every success story is someone who gave something up: time, comfort, relationships, even their own peace of mind. You don't just stumble into a jet. You earn it by letting go of the life most people cling to. You trade comfort for risk, leisure for discipline, and instant gratification for long-term vision. Think of Elon Musk sleeping on factory floors while building Tesla. Think of Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, who lived in a tiny apartment with only $7 in his pocket before becoming the world's highest-paid actor. They didn't get there by accident. They got there by making sacrifices others refuse to make. And that's the truth no one claps for. The grind isn't glamorous. The sacrifices aren't Instagram-worthy. But they are the very thing that separates dreamers from doers. Here's what most people misunderstand. Sacrifice doesn't mean losing. It means investing. When you give up comfort now, you're investing in a future most people will never experience. When you choose work over leisure, discipline over distraction, you're depositing into the account of your destiny. Every hour you sacrifice is a brick in the foundation of your success. But sacrifice is heavy, and it hurts. It means you'll be misunderstood. It means people will call you crazy. It means nights where you feel like quitting because you've given up so much and gained so little, at least for now. And yet, that's the very point. If success were cheap, everyone would have it. But it's the sacrifice that keeps the masses out and allows only the relentless to break through. So when you see that jet take off, don't just admire the shine. Respect the sacrifices that fueled its engines. Understand that success doesn't come wrapped in luxury. It comes wrapped in pain, persistence, and sacrifice. Because in the end, the jet isn't just a symbol of wealth. It's proof that someone was willing to pay the price that most people avoid. Sacrifice is the real currency of the jet life. And the question isn't whether success is possible. The question is, are you willing to pay what it costs? Every journey toward success eventually collides with a wall, the breaking point. It's that moment when the weight of sacrifice feels unbearable, when doubt becomes louder than belief, when quitting feels easier than continuing. The breaking point is not just a test, it's the crucible where dreams are either destroyed or transformed into destiny. Picture it. You've sacrificed everything: sleep, comfort, relationships, yet the results are nowhere to be found. The bank account is empty. The phone calls aren't being returned. The world feels indifferent to your effort. And in that silence, the voice in your head grows stronger. Maybe you're not good enough. Maybe this isn't meant for you. Maybe it's time to quit. That's the breaking point, the place where most people walk away. But here's the truth that separates the few from the many. The breaking point is not the end. It's the doorway. Every successful person you've ever admired has been there. Oprah, crying after being fired. Walt Disney, bankrupt and rejected by investors who thought he had no imagination. Thomas Edison, failing thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. They all stood at the edge of defeat, staring at the possibility of failure. What made them legends wasn't avoiding the breaking point. It was refusing to break when it came. The breaking point is designed to strip you down. It takes away your illusions, your comfort, and even your ego. It forces you to confront the raw question: how badly do you really want this? And that's why it's so powerful, because only those who answer with action move beyond it. Success doesn't belong to the most talented or the most connected. It belongs to the ones who survive their breaking point. Think about it. The diamond doesn't form without pressure. The muscle doesn't grow without tearing, and greatness doesn't emerge without breaking points. They aren't there to end you. They're there to build you. The struggle that feels like it's about to break you is actually shaping you into the kind of person who can handle the weight of success once it arrives. But let's be honest, the breaking point hurts. It's lonely. It feels unfair. And it will tempt you to give up every single time. That's why most people never get to the jet life. They bow out when the struggle feels too heavy. They think the pain means they're failing, when in reality, the pain means they're close. Because here's the secret. The breaking point usually comes right before the breakthrough. So when your life feels like it's falling apart, when the sacrifices feel wasted, when you're standing at your lowest moment, remember this. You are standing in the same place every great success once stood. And if you refuse to quit, you'll discover that the breaking point was never meant to stop you. It was meant to prepare you. Because in the silence of the breaking point lies the seed of your breakthrough. The difference between those who quit and those who rise is simple: choice. When life pushed them to their knees, when the breaking point threatened to bury them, the successful chose to rise. And that rise wasn't instant or glamorous. It wasn't a Hollywood scene with dramatic music and a cheering crowd. It was quiet, often unseen, and it began with one decision. I will not stay down. Rising through struggles means taking the pain that was meant to break you and turning it into fuel. It means rewriting the story in your mind. Failure is no longer proof that you're not good enough. It's proof that you're learning, evolving, getting stronger. Struggle becomes your training ground. Every rejection is a lesson. Every setback, a teacher. Every disappointment, a sharpening tool. And as you rise, something powerful happens. The struggle that once weakened you now becomes the very reason you cannot be stopped. Look at history. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison and emerged not broken, but stronger, leading a nation to freedom. J.K. Rowling faced poverty, divorce, and rejection after rejection before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon. These aren't stories of comfort. They're stories of people who rose through their struggles. They refused to let the pain define them. Instead, they let it refine them. And that's the secret. Your struggles are not punishments. They're preparations. They're shaping your discipline, building your resilience, teaching you patience. Without them, you wouldn't be ready for the very success you dream of. Rising through struggle is not about escaping the fire. It's about walking through it and realizing you are fireproof. Here's the truth most don't understand. Struggle doesn't just change your circumstances. It changes you. It turns you into someone who can handle the weight of success without crumbling under it. That's why the private jet, the mansion, the applause, they're not the real win. The real win is the person you became on the way there. So when you rise through your struggles, you no longer fear them. You understand that each storm was necessary, that each failure was a step forward, that each sacrifice was an investment. The struggle becomes your advantage because it carved out a strength in you that comfort never could. And when you finally step into that moment of success, when the jet door closes behind you, when the world claps for you, deep down you'll know the truth. It wasn't the luxury that made you. It was the struggle. The private jet is just a symbol. The real reward is the unshakable, unstoppable version of yourself that was born in the fire. So, rise. Rise through your struggles. Rise through your breaking points. Rise through your sacrifices. Because one day, the world will see the luxury, but you will know the truth. It was the struggle that gave you wings. At the end of the journey, when the jet is waiting on the runway, when the cameras flash, when the applause finally comes, there's a moment of clarity. Because by then, you realize something profound. The jet, the mansion, the spotlight, they were never the real definition of success. They were symbols, outcomes, trophies. The true definition of success was hidden in the struggles that got you here. Success is not the luxury. It's the resilience. It's not the applause. It's the discipline you showed when nobody was watching. It's not the bank account. It's the courage to keep going when you were broke and broken. That's why so many people who chase only the surface, only the image of success, end up empty, because they never went through the transformation that gives those symbols meaning. Think about it. What good is a private jet if you don't have the character to carry its weight? What good is a mansion if you lost yourself in the process of getting it? True success isn't measured in possessions. It's measured in the person you had to become. The long nights, the sacrifices, the breaking points, the rise. That's the real reward. The jet is just a reflection of the strength you built within. This is why envy is dangerous. You can't envy the jet without envying the struggle that fueled it. You can't want the success without wanting the sacrifices, the pain, the discipline. Because success isn't a gift. It's an exchange. You trade comfort for growth, excuses for action, fear for faith. And on the other side of that exchange is not just wealth, it's wisdom, strength, and purpose. And here's the beautiful paradox. Once you've walked through the struggles, once you've risen from the breaking point, the jet is no longer the prize. The prize is the unshakable confidence that no storm can break you. The prize is the peace of knowing you didn't quit when quitting would have been easier. The prize is the person in the mirror, the one who can now face anything and rise again. So yes, let the world see the jet. Let them clap for the mansion, admire the cars, celebrate the spotlight. But you will always know the truth. Success wasn't found in the luxury. It was built in the shadows. The real definition of success is becoming the kind of person who can withstand the struggle, survive the breaking point, and rise stronger every single time. Because in the end, the jet takes off, the applause fades, the trophies gather dust. But who you became in the process, that lasts forever. That is success.